Okay, going live. Uh, can you just change the slide? Actually, forgot to change that title slide. Okay, so hi everyone. Welcome on Sanjay Gupta Tech School. I'm Sanjay Gupta and I have Abhishek with me. So, welcome Abhishek on the channel. So today we have one more session on OmniStudio, and this is episode 7. And here in this session, Abhishek will be explaining few more scenarios related to integration procedure. So in last session also we understood three scenarios related to integration procedure. So few more scenarios he will be implementing today. So no theory, all practical implementation, so that you can understand like how different functionalities you can implement in Salesforce Omni Studio, right? So over to you, Abhishek.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. Myself, Abhishek, and I'm working as a Salesforce Velocity developer since 5+ years now. And I'm a Trail a double star ranger, and also I have done some certification around Velocity as well as Salesforce, and a few certifications around like Velocity or Omni Studio is Omni Studio developer. Then industry CPQ, and also I'm holding one certification of Velocity, which is health coding developer. So that's it about me. Sanjay.
Okay, so moving on to the next slide. So if you want to become part of a community where lots of freshers and experienced folks are connected, so you can join this Telegram group. And if you want to share some feedback, whatever sessions we are doing, so please feel free to share those in the comment section. So we have, yeah, if you can go to the next slide. So we have 6 scenarios that you will be learning, right? So all these scenarios are related to integration procedure. And while Abhishek will be implementing these, so you can relate like if these problems are available in Apex, how you will be implementing them. So similarly, the replacement of Apex or coding stuff is basically integration procedure where you can implement all like logical building. Okay, so let's start with the conditional block implementation in IP. So over to you, Abhishek.
Yeah. So let's just directly jump into the or. So basically, yeah. So for the first scenario, which is conditional block, so it indicates that if we want to execute some sort of functionality on a particular condition. Okay. So I'm gonna create a IP first. So let's give it a name like IP.
Demo
Let's
one.
say demo of demo tools. So there is one thing called which is called as conditional block. So basically, what will happen in this one? You can write down any sort of condition. Let's say I want to say that fetch account should be equals to true. Okay, that means I mean, like this block will only execute when this fetch account will be true. If it is not true, then this conditional block will not get executed. So just to make a scenario, what we're gonna do is we're gonna call two data raptors. First is data raptor first data raptor which will fetch the account records. Second data raptor which will extract the contact records. So if I go here and let's say I'm gonna use a data raptor which is like tr extract account, for example. And as part of this data raptor, what we want to do here is we want to pass a param value. So I mean, like these all should make sense to now because we already have gone through all on this one. So let's say test as GTS1. Okay. And if I go to preview and click execute, so from the data raptor, okay, there is no output because I think let's go here from the data raptor and
So the name you provided test SGTS1, so it was not available. No record is available with that name. Or
yeah, I think yeah. So we have the records with this test, which is in caps value. So I'm gonna do this. So now, I mean, like the question arises when basically we have the execution conditional formula in the data raptor extract element also. So the thing that whatever we have written here, we can write over here as well, right? So why there is two things, conditional block and execution conditional formula, right? So basically what will happen, let's say you want to you want to call 5 data raptors on a particular condition, right? So if you are calling the those 5 data raptor, you have to write this condition in each and every data raptor element, right? But whenever we have a group of elements that should be executed on a particular condition, then the better approach of developing that functionality is using the conditional block, so that you will write the condition only for once, and in that you can have multiple elements like this. So like now if I remove this from here, and so basically now what will happen, if I'm going to add, let's say, one chatter action in this conditional block, let's say one delete action in this conditional block, so these all things will get executed only and only when this fetch account will be coming as true.
and this fetch account is a variable.
Yeah, this is a variable that we're going to pass. Yes.
Okay. And from where it will be receiving the value? From input
So
preview?
yeah, yeah. So basically, I mean, like for testing the IP, we will be receiving the value from the input.
Okay.
But in actual, we will be passing this variable from either from OmniScript or FlexCard.
Okay, understood.
So let's say this is the one conditional block. Let's say we're gonna create another conditional block where we're gonna say like fetch contact should be true. Contact, and for this data raptor, let's say we are gonna call this, let's say, contact, and this data raptor is expecting a name. I think so. Yeah, name param, which is okay. So we have to pass the account name over here. So in this data raptor, what we are doing, according to this variable, we have a where clause on the account name. So if I go here and yeah, simply. Now, if I go to preview, right? If I go to preview and click execute, there will be, both of the data raptors will not get called. Reason being is we have added the condition fetch account and fetch contact, and that we are not passing, right? So I'll go to preview again, and I'm gonna add one is this, two, one is contact. Let's say contact, I'm gonna pass it as false for now. And now if I click execute, so in the debug now you can see the dr extract per account. If I make it this true and the other one is false, execute. Now data raptor extract 2 action is getting executed, and this is giving me the contact details. Right?
Okay, and what if we pass both as true? So both the lists will be rendered?
Yeah, so both will get executed.
Okay. Okay,
right?
So yeah, in different extract actions, action 1 will be having one list and action 2 will be having another. Okay.
Correct. So this is how we can use the conditional block. And is better to use conditional block whenever you want to, like on a particular condition, you want to execute multiple elements in the IP. If you want to if you want to execute only single element, then it's not a good approach to use the conditional block. You can directly write the condition into the execution conditional formula.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's the one thing.
And
Let's jump on.
another question, the result which we are receiving in form of list. So that result we will be using either in the OmniScript or FlexCard, right?
Exactly. Yes.
So the same way the data raptor result we are using in IP, and the IP
Correct.
whatever result is receiving, it will pass it to OmniScript or FlexCard so that this data we can show in the UI.
Correct. So I mean, like generally the flow also is like that. I mean, from your OmniScript or FlexCard, you call your IP, and from your IP you call your data raptor.
Right.
So this is how it works.
So I hope guys, with this example, you are able to understand like how we can connect multiple data raptors with one IP, right? So prior to IP sessions, you were only implementing data raptor. Now, with this example, you will be able to understand like what is the benefit of data raptor. And one more thing I want to highlight, whatever data raptors we are creating, they are independent. So one data raptor you can call into any number of IPs, right? So this is the benefit of OmniStudio. This feature is not supported actually in Salesforce flows. In flows, whatever elements you are using, so that basically can be used in that flow only. But here, data raptor IP, OmniScript, and FlexCard all are separate components, so you can reuse them so that you can speed up your implementation.
Correct. I mean, that's a good example that you gave, Sanjay. Like in Flow, if we want to use fetch records or I think get records elements in Flow, you have to use multiple times if you want to fetch extract the records. But in the case of OmniStudio, you can use your single data raptor in multiple IP or multiple OmniScripts. So that's a good
Yep.
solution that OmniStudio is providing.
Right.
So, yep. Now, if we go to the next example is list action in IP. So basically, what is list action? Okay. Now, if we go here and if we see, right, with the name, we have three, with the name of test SGTS V1, we have three accounts, correct? And if you go to the data raptor extract 2, we are only receiving only one contact with the account name test SGTS1, correct? So these two are coming into a separate list right now.
Right.
So here comes the usage of list action. Let's say you have your account data in one list. In your second list, you have the contact data, but in the contact data, you have the account ID as we have over here, right? So we have a common key for both the list.
Right.
And now by using these, I want to create a new list, which will be a single list. And wherever, let's say this account ID, if I'm able to find in this one, as we can see, we can find this account ID. So as result, what I want is, I mean, like there should be another list created if I open the JSON block. So just give me a second. So in this JSON block, what I want here is there should be a new list should get created, and what should be the output of this one? It should be like this. So basically, this account ID will get matched with this account ID, and there should be a new list get created where if we have contacts related to this account, that should get merged with this one, and vice. I mean, like so on.
Yeah. So you mean to say account and contact both information will be merged into a one list?
Correct. And that will happen on the basis of a common key.
Common key, yeah. That should be available in both the list.
Correct. So now if I go to IP again and let's say here we have this list action. So how we can do is we have to copy the name of this conditional block. So first of all, we have to add the list, merge list order. So here we will say conditional block 1, then this. So we have to paste basically element names. And if we see the result of this one is coming as ACC list, correct? So paste it here as ACC list. Now, second will be like this, conditional block 2, data raptor extract action 2, and the output of the contact is coming like in contacts, right? So this will be contacts. And now you have to select this checkbox advanced merge, and in advanced merge, you will click on this add merge map. And in this add merge map, select the account list. I mean, like whatever you have populated over here, this will come as a drop down.
Right.
Okay. And in the matching path, so if I go to ACC list, what is my common key, which is the ID? Correct. So I'm going to select, I'm going to type the ID over here. And let's say matching group will be 1. I will tell you the significance of this matching group. Again, click on add merge map. Select your contact one, and in your contact one, what is your common key? This account ID. Type this over here, and matching group will be 1. So basically, now what will happen? We have created a matching group where we are saying from the account list pick the ID, from the contact list pick the account ID, and I mean like why the matching group? For both the conditions are same because these two are related to each other. Right. So that is why we have did this. So if you see the description of this one as well, assign an identical key to all nodes that may match for the merging to occur. So basically, this and this matching should be come under this matching group, the one matching group.
Okay, so you mean to say we can create another group? We can create another mapping, and we can give the matching group as 2.
Yeah.
So pairing actually we are doing here.
Correct. Yeah. Kind of.
Okay. Yeah.
Now again, now if I go to execute, and if you see the output of list action, okay, nothing came. And just give me a second. So we have this data raptor ACC list. Then we have the data raptor. Okay. I think, I'm not sure, but I think so that we don't need to use this one. Data raptor account, data raptor account. If I go to click execute. Yeah.
Yes.
Now we can see that.
We just need to provide the node name actually, right?
Correct. Yeah. So, I mean, like you have to use only the element name and whatever result is coming from it. So now, as you can see, the output that we wanted, it is coming like that. So the accounts that do not have any contact, it didn't get mapped with anyone. Mm-hmm. But the account which have the contact, those key value pairs have been merged together.
Right.
So that's the main advantage of using list actions.
Yeah, and I think it is very useful if we have called multiple data raptor, and if we want to combine the data.
Correct. So basically, sometimes what happen, I mean, like in this sort of scenario, we always create a data raptor only where the contact and account will get, we get from the data raptor extract as a single list. But sometimes in the real world scenario, that happens. I mean, like the parent object is coming from another node, and child object is coming from the another node. So that in that case, we have to combine them.
Right.
So
Okay.
that is there. And now the next example is remote action in IP. Okay. So let me first drag and drop any remote action. So yeah. So basically, what remote action does is sometimes what happens, your IP will not be able to do some sort of task with the help of all the configurations. So in that case, we have to call the Apex class. Okay. So when you want to call an Apex class from your IP or OmniScript, then you have to use the remote action. So I mean, like, I have already created one Apex class. So I will. So whenever you want to call an Apex class from an IP, you have to implement one interface which is called as system.callable. I mean, like, previously when Velocity was not merged with OmniStudio, the interface was a bit different. But as soon as they got merged, I mean, like, they have introduced a new interface which is called as system.callable. And in that system.callable, we have a call method which we have to extend or we have to define. I mean, like, if you are aware of interface functionality, in the interface, you always have methods which are declared, and in the implementing class, you have to define them.
Right.
Correct. So you have to define one method called as call, and it will have two parameters. First is string parameter. Second is map of string comma object parameter. So these three things you always have to remember. The first one is the interface name, second one is the method name, and third one is the what parameters that this method supports.
Right.
Okay. And I will also tell you why this have been designed like this. So basically, now what will happen, I will call my Apex class from the remote action, and this is my method name. So basically, what will happen? So as soon as this is my remote action configuration, you just give me the remote action class name, give me the remote action method name. So now what will happen? This test example will automatically get passed to this string parameter.
Right.
Okay. And in this method, what we can do, we can just check method name is equals to test example. Then we can create our own method. And let's say if I have multiple methods, for example, if test example one, so I can call some other method.
Right.
So this is how, I mean, like, what you can say is whenever we create, let's say, some sort of utility class in Salesforce. So in a single class, we define multiple methods for multiple functionalities. So it's kind of the same. Whenever we are working on OmniStudio in a real-time project, we never create a new Apex class for every remote action. We always create a one remote class only, and we create multiple methods in it.
Right.
Okay. And now we will talk about this input. So basically, if you remember these options from the data raptor IP, calling data raptor from an IP, these are some options where we can send some input. Like we can, for sending some inputs, we can use send JSON path. We can use additional input. So let's say I'm gonna use the additional input, and I'm gonna use name. Let's say here I'm gonna say SGTS.
So in this, like, which is used frequently, this response JSON path or node thing, or this additional input thing?
So it depends actually.
Okay.
So let's say if you have your all data into a single list, then you can use the send JSON path. But if you have your data into multiple lists, then you generally we use additional input, because here we can fetch the data from multiple lists.
Okay.
Another thing is when you want to perform some sort of calculation before sending the data, then in that case also we use additional input.
Right.
Okay. So now what I have done is I have just called my Apex class, and from the additional input, I have passed one parameter, which is name. Okay. And now if I go to preview and click execute, and let me go to the Apex class, I'll open the debug logs. So what I have done here is from this method, I have called this test example, and whatever I'm receiving in input, I have passed it. And first of all, I have added one debug, which is data. So this is whatever I'm receiving in input, we are just debugging it. Okay.
Right.
So if I go here and paste it over here. So line number 11, line number 11, we have, as you can see, we have everything. Conditional block one null. I mean, like whatever data we have into the IP, we are receiving everything. Contacts. And the reason why we are receiving is, if I go back here, I haven't checked this checkbox, send only additional input. So whatever things that have been executed into this IP till now will be sent along with this additional input. As soon as I click on this one, send only additional input. And if I go to preview again and click execute, and there will be new, and data. So on the line number 11, as you can see in the data node, we are receiving three things. First is input, second is option, third is output.
Right.
Correct. And in the input node, I'm receiving the data that I have passed from the IP, which is name equals to SGTS Apex.
Right.
Correct.
So, yeah, both key and values are available here.
Correct. So basically, this input will contain three nodes. First is input, second is options, third is output. So input, we have understood what will be coming into the input. Correct. Whatever we are passing as an input will be coming in the input. In options, what will come into the options? So in options, what will be there? I think there is one thing called set remote option. Yeah, remote options. So if I click here and let's say I'm going to pass one thing, let's say test, and let's say SGTS test. And if I click on preview, execute again, and another one, data. Yep. In the options, I'm receiving this test, SGTS test.
So what is the use
Correct.
of this option?
Yeah. So now what actually happens here? Why we use the remote options? So basically, remote options send JSON path and additional input are kind of same to send some sort of input.
Right.
So we have differentiated the send JSON path and additional input. So the difference why we use remote options is like, so let's say if you want to send some sort of settings, I mean, like it's not a, let's say I'm gonna say is call account method. Okay. So this is also some sort of, this is also some sort of input, but it's kind of a remote options, like, right, that with the help of this input, I can decide whether to call the account or not.
Okay.
So it's just a fundamental change.
And
Correct.
here we can pass only one remote option only, one key value pair.
So we can
add
pass
okay.
multiple.
Okay.
So there is, I mean, like if we go on a technical part, there is no change into the remote options and additional input.
Both
But if we see the fundamental part, then we can decide. Okay. But we generally don't use the remote options in the real-time projects.
Right.
So if I go to to go here and execute again, I'm gonna close this, and in the data I'm receiving, oh, sorry. In the data, I'm receiving the name as SGTS Apex. So we have understood input, options, and what is the output. So I will tell you. So I mean, like this until this line we have understood. Now, from here, what we are doing is, I mean, like if you want to fetch your inputs, how you can fetch it. I mean, like if you have worked upon the JSON part, if you want to fetch some sort of key value pair from your JSON into the Apex, you have to use the get method. And into the get method, you have to pass the input, the key value. So your data is holding three key value pairs. First is input, options, and output. So from the input, you will receive your, if I remove this, and if you see the output of this one, this debug log, from the inputs, you are only getting the inputs value, not options, not output. So this is how you can retrieve your inputs from your data. I mean, like whatever input parameters that you are receiving. Now we understood the options as well. You can use, if you write here as options will be available.
Right.
Now the third variable is output. So basically the third node is used to pass some data from your Apex to your IP. So basically in the inputs and option, you'll receive the data from IP, and in the output, you will send the data back to your IP. Right. So here what I'm doing is I have created one variable, one map, which is of type string, object. And from here, I mean, like in this map, I have created a key value pair where name is equals to SJTS from Apex. And this output I am setting. So basically this data dot put is used to put some value on your key value pair. So in this data on the output key, I am setting up the output variable that I have created. So I mean, like if you don't get confused, I'm gonna say is like output one. Yeah. Yep. So I mean, in your data, we had three key value pairs: inputs, options, output. And in the output, we are sending the output one values. And in your output one, you can have anything.
Right.
Correct. And now if I go back to my IP, and if I see the output of the remote action, I am receiving this node as name SGTS from Apex.
So for receiving output, we don't need to do any configuration. It will be available in remote action 1 automatically.
Correct, yes.
If we have two remote actions, so it will be remote action 1 or remote action 2.
Correct, yes.
Okay.
So this is the another, so this is the example of remote action actually.
Okay.
So I mean, like this, the reason why we use Apex classes, sometimes we will not be able to create, build some sort of functionality with the help of integration procedures. Mm-hmm. So we pass the inputs from the IP. From the IP to Apex. In the Apex, we do all the calculation and whatever we want to do. And from the Apex, we send the data back to the IP. So I mean, like I have explained the way of doing it. Now, functionality can be anything, scenario can be anything.
Exactly.
Correct. So that is there.
Yeah, I think we can jump on to the next one.
The next one is the email action in IP. Okay. So in the email action, I'm going to drag and drop the email action. So this is very simple. It's kind of the same when you want to send an email to the end user. So basically, in the email action configuration, you can use the email template as well. Here you will be seeing all the list of email templates. I don't think so I have anything.
Yeah.
So what I'm gonna, yeah. See, we have so many email templates.
Yeah,
Here.
these are the email templates which we configure as an admin, right?
Correct.
All those are
Yes.
available. Okay.
So I mean, like right now, I'm not gonna use any email template. So as soon as you deselect this use template, it will ask you two email address list, CCML email address list and BCC. And you can set your email subject, you can set your email body. If you want to set your HTML, that also you can do. And you can set your org-wide email address, content versions, if you want to attach some sort of content version files. And this is your selected documents. I mean, there are some other options. So we're gonna use I'm gonna explain a very simple example. So for example, Sanjay, if you can tell me any sort of your ID so that you can show to the user.
Email ID.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let me just, so you can type sanjaygupta.techschool@gmail.com.
Sanjay Gupta, sorry. Sanjay Gupta dot tech school
@gmail.com.
@gmail.com. So I'm gonna send email to this email address. And let's say if you want to have multiple email address, you can add comma and you can type in multiple as well. And email subject, let's say welcome on SGTS. We're gonna say hello world. And if I go here and click on preview, so I think Sanjay, you must have received one email address because it's shows me success is equals to true.
Yeah, let me just, yeah, I received an email. So guys, I won't be able to share that. So if you want to experience it, you need to implement, and you will also receive an email.
Yep. So very basic example of using the email actions, and this is what we use in real life as well. I mean, like apart from hard coding these values, we get these values as a comma separated values from the DR, and we pass it on a variable here. That's it.
Okay, so the data which we are receiving from the data raptor, we can pass it here also.
Correct, but it should be in the form of comma separated
values. Yeah. And if we use
that we can do with the help of formula.
Okay, and if we use the template, then we don't need to type any subject or body. That template we just need to use.
Correct, and you can. I mean, like similar thing that we do into the Apex. You have to set the what ID. You have to set the email target object ID. Same things.
And what about two email addresses? Because email template will give us the template only. Now, how we can decide like to whom we are sending that email?
Yeah, so I mean, like it. I mean, like when we are using the email templates, it would be decided by what ID.
Right, got it.
Yep.
Yeah, so I think like people, those who are watching, they can explore this. It is very simple, configurable action. So in flows also we use this in both the ways. If you have template, you can use that. If you don't have template, so in flows we generally create text templates, but here like we can type the body directly. So I can recall it is similar to that.
It is similar to that, yes. Yeah. So moving forward, the chatter action in IP. Okay. So basically the chatter action, what it does, it's again similar to the flows. It creates a chatter onto the record.
Right.
Simple. So let's say subject ID. I think in the subject ID, you have to pass the record ID. In the mentioned user ID, you have to pass the user to which user you want to mention. In the image, you can give some static resource ID. And I think in the markup type, you can set it is a bold, italic, or underline. Right. So these sort of things. So let's do one thing. I'm going to open one account. Okay. what we can do here is from this data abstraction, let's use this account ID. Okay. So go to properties. Here will be the subject ID, and I'm gonna use my user only to chatter myself. Copy my user ID, and let's say into the text I'm gonna say hey, and I'm gonna select the markup type as bold. Let's say, and I'll go to preview and click execute. And if I go to the chatter action, okay, there are a lot of things as coming as output, but let's go into the record itself. Let me go to the account, and I think this is the account, not sure.
Yeah.
I go to chatter. Yeah.
Yes, it is there.
Here we can see the hey is coming in bold, and my user have been notified.
Right, exactly.
Correct.
Yeah, again,
So
they like viewers or learners needs to explore this, right?
correct. I mean, like these are some of the elements which is not frequently used.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, like you can explore so many things around it.
Right.
How we can do it. And last but not least, which is a delete action in IP. Okay. So for delete action, okay. If I go here, yeah. So into the delete action, we have to, first of all, we have this thing, add as object to delete. So in this as object, you have to select the account, the object records that you want to delete. So I'm gonna delete the account records, for example, and which records you want to delete. So let's say, yeah. So whatever data I'm receiving from my contact records, okay, this data refer extract action. So in this one path to ID, I have to give the path. So how we can do that? So result is coming in this one, and if I go here, sorry, contacts. Okay, I think we are not receiving the ID, so I'm gonna receive the IDs as well. Contacts, I'm gonna go here. In the output, I'm gonna create one more mapping, which will be like contacts colon ID. Okay, and here also I have to mention ID. Okay, and if I go to preview, so first of all, I'm gonna go to that account, and in the related list, I'm able to see my contact. Now, if I go here and click execute, okay, I think there is some issue. So, delete action. It says configuration error. I think I'm not really
Yeah,
sure,
you don't need to
but we
use,
have to
yeah.
use these as well.
Okay,
The
person.
merge fields. And if I click execute, no. Yeah, now it is. Oh, success is false again. Okay.
Configuration error. So do we need to use that name data raptor to what you used?
Yeah, I think so. We have to use this thing. Okay. No. Oh, see, this is the error. We want to delete the contacts,
Contact
but in the
detail.
type we have selected the
Account,
accounts.
yeah. We need to change the list then. Or maybe we can change the
Let's,
object.
yeah. So if I go here, contact,
So basically we are trying to delete the contact ID and on account object we are searching, so it is not available.
exactly. And now if I go to preview again and execute, yeah, now it didn't
Got
give
deleted.
any error, and success is true. And if I refresh this account, my contact is gone.
Right.
So basically, if we go to the configuration, very simple. You just give the object name, and here will be the path. So right now we have the single record list. If you have a list of records, then that will also support this one.
Okay. And in this case, this response transformations, additional output, uh,
Doesn't make any
does,
sense
yeah, right. Because
because
we are
it will not
deleting.
return anything.
Yeah. Okay. So I think you already explained all the scenarios. So out of curiosity, one question, like
Yeah.
if anyhow we want to implement a looping scenario, so is there
Okay.
any option for that also?
Yeah, we have the loop block.
Okay. Through
If you
that we
want to
can do.
implement it.
Hmm.
So I mean, like I can execute this one. So let's do. So in this one, first of all, you have to pass the loop list. On which list you want to loop? Okay. For example, let's say I'm gonna loop on this one. Colon. I think it's coming into the. Not sure, but yeah, in this ACC list. So this is your list, first of all. Okay. Right. And now let's say you want to call your Apex class. So I'm gonna use this remote action in this one. Okay. And let's say I'm gonna click on execute. And see this. Your remote action is getting called thrice now.
Okay. Okay.
1, 2, and 3. So this is how you can do the loops.
But it is, I think, complicated.
Yeah, it is complicated, but I mean, like the basic funda of this one is like this one. I mean, like you just have to give the loop list, and in that loop list, you can do whatever you want. So basically, let's say if you want to call a data after 3 times.
So one more question: we are passing ACC list, and ACC list having three records, three account records, right? So in remote action one, so generally we implement for each loop, and we create a variable also like account ACC colon ACC list. So from ACC list, one by one record will come into ACC variable. So do we have that sort of thing here also, or it will be
Yep,
okay? Loop
we
block
have, we
one.
have. So I mean, like what? Okay, what we'll do here is we will just simply pass the name. Okay. So if I go here, I'm gonna just say name. So basically now, let's just see into the action once, then I'll explain.
So in my
And
opinion, each account record's name will be passing automatically.
Exactly, yes. So in the input, nothing is coming.
But it is called three times. Data is not coming, but it is called, yeah.
But I think, okay, we'll figure it out. I think you have to use the loop block one as well as the name. I think so. Not sure. Let's see it. Because I also haven't used this loop block much of it. So yeah, I think I have to check for this one, Sanjay.
Okay.
I'm really not sure about this.
No problem. So it is generally not used frequently.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so I think you already covered all the scenarios. So
Yep.
next session we will be planning for OmniScript and FlexCard. So guys, we will be doing that session on Friday. So that all the like independent components will be demonstrated to you. So data raptor we already covered, IP we already covered, whatever important actions you need to use, right? And in one of the session you will be learning how we can use OmniScript and FlexCard along with IP and data raptor. And then next week Abhishek will give you end-to-end implementation of a real-time project. So we will discuss about the requirement first, then we will explain you the technical solutioning of that requirement. So requirement will be available in the layman terms, right? and then we will guide you like how its technical solutioning is being done, and through that we will try to explain you like how exactly you can implement it in the um, OmniStudio application, right?
Yep.
So if you follow all these videos, I'm sure you will be able to understand or will be able to do all the hands-on. And OmniStudio is demanding in the market. So if you are working as a developer and you are struggling for a job, so if you add OmniStudio as a skill set in your CV, so I think it will let you stand out from other folks. Okay, so thank you, Abhishek, for sparing time. And I think we will be having two more sessions, then this season will be completed, and then
Yeah.
maybe we will plan something different out of,
New. Yeah.
yeah, other than Omni Studio. Okay, and there is one comment, velocity open interface. So earlier it is used to call this thing
Correct.
velocity.
Correct.
Okay, so someone like Krishna might be working on any project where they are still using this. So in existing orgs like this is available, in the new orgs, the Salesforce Omni Studio is
So,
available, right?
so the thing is, I mean, like wherever wherever we are just using only the Omni Studio,
Mhm.
there will be the system.callable interface will be there. But let's say if you are using any sort of industry, so for example, you are using the insurance cloud, okay?
Mhm.
So you have to use that velocity open interface still.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and I think, uh, okay, yeah. So this is it. So I think we can wrap the session here only. And thank you for joining the session. Thank you, Abhishek, for sharing the knowledge. See you in the next session.
Yeah.